3, 2. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the April report of the Chicago Area DNN Users Group. I'm Don Gingold, and one of the founding members of the Chicago DNN Users Group, and I'm here with Jim Yee, who is also a founding member. Hi, Jim.
Hi, how you doing?
Very good, thank you. Jim and I are business partners with Sprocket Websites. We are a web development company that pretty much exclusively builds DNN-based websites, and then we also do social media management work for folks and traffic generation and whatnot. We're a couple of the founding members of the Chicago DNN Users Group, along with the other guys that you see here on your screen, Mike Riley, Phil Weggers, and Scott Wilkinson. We got the DNN User Group together. They are here with us in spirit this afternoon as we're doing our report. And last week, or last month, I should say, Scott did a report on workflow, very heavy technical kind of a thing. DNN programmer types would appreciate it. And we don't always do those, but we do a lot of that type of stuff. And he'll probably be with us next month. Let's talk about the folks that have helped us get this far. First one there, JNS Tech Designs, they're providing the recording equipment for us to have this recorded and posted online. And then, of course, Manage.com, big thanks to them for hosting ChicagoDNN.org, which is the website that we post these things on. You may very well be watching it via ChicagoDNN.org's website. Manage.com is a consolidation, basically, of a number of different hosting companies that were all under the same umbrella, corporate umbrella, and now they've gone under all the same brand. You may know them as PowerDNN. They're probably, well, I guess they're the premier, one of the oldest DNN hosting companies. We use them pretty much exclusively for all of our clients, host them on their machines. When they're not, well, they're always hosting us, but they also help us when we have a face-to-face meeting, which we do every maybe 2 or 3 times a year. Right now, of course, we're just having our report and posting it online for people to read and to watch, and we hope that you enjoy it. We try to answer questions from 3 different groups of people. We see that the people that own websites may not necessarily be technically inclined. They just need to get a message out, which is great. We certainly appreciate those folks and their business. And they want to know what can their website do for them. And so we talk at a capabilities level for those folks. There's also people that log into a DNN website and need to make it do things, and so they want to know how that works. And so there's questions that are somewhat technical or somewhat configuration minded. And then there's the folks that are coding type folks that want to make a module that's a custom module, or they want to design a particular look so that the website looks a certain way, but it needs to, of course, fit into the DNN development platform way of doing things. And so they'll ask questions like, how do I code that? And so we try to help all 3 of those folks. Tonight, pretty much covered half of what we're talking about, the welcomes and the sponsors. And then Jim is going to go into the latest DNN corporate news and our user group news. And then after that, we're going to talk about something that's more of a higher level type of a 10,000 feet type of a thing. Instead of getting into the nitty-gritty of the code, we're going to talk about capabilities and how to take advantage of some programs so that you don't have to spend a whole bunch of time working. Work smarter, not harder kind of a thing, and we'll get into that in just a minute. So I'm going to throw the presentation recording system over to Jim and jump onto his screen and his presentation, and he'll take you through the next batch.
Excellent. Thanks, Don. Looking for that coming through here. We'll accept that. We'll share this screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so April 2015, going to talk about some new nuke stuff. We're going to do the standard agenda. We go through some social media updates, what's happening on our social media accounts, do a little bit of corporate updates, talk a little bit about release updates and module updates, go over the any.NET Nuke products, and talk quickly about the CATAG website updates as well. We're kind of on autopilot, used for the CATAG group, doing a variety of different things each month. Our various different groups continue to ebb and flow a little bit. Still at 199 members on the CATAG website. That's due to registration being turned off. We have not gone back and turned registration back on the website yet. We did plan to do that at some point. We just haven't gotten to it to turn that back on.
Yeah, you want to tell people why that is the case, just so that the new folks that are coming in, all the folks that are DNN folks, they know that that there was some kind of a hack that people trying to get into DNN websites, and it wasn't really to rewrite the website, but the DNN's got a robust user system that's built into it, and people tried to create profiles on various DNN websites just as a user, and it doesn't hurt the website for the most part, except that it creates a page, and then they do that for link building. So it was a spamming type of a problem, and so we shut that off so that we weren't getting those things in there, and we just haven't gotten back to cleaning it up, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's certainly a good summation of what happened and why the registration has been turned off for the last few months, and will probably continue to be for the next couple of months until we can get some time to turn that registration back on and make it, spam-proof and that kind of thing. So currently disabled, but we were disabled at 199 members. Over on the LinkedIn group, we're down one member. Actually, we're down two members and added a member, so it was a little bit of activity in the group, but net result is we're at 60 active members in the LinkedIn group, 36 active members on Facebook. On Twitter, a couple people stopped following us, but we did add about 19 or 20 people to other people that we currently follow. So there were some new people that had expressed DNN in their bios and profiles. That's how we find new people to follow, doing a search on keywords on DNN and people's profiles, looking for that kind of thing. So if you want us to follow you, make sure you mention DNN in your bio on Twitter, or follow us and we'll follow you back. Absolutely. And then on the Google Plus community, we're actually up one new member at 53, so that's an active group over there. So be sure to check us out on the different social media platforms. If you see us, or you just want to say hi, please do that. We'll be happy to respond back, make sure that we're following you or liking you or plus one-ing you or whatever we need to do on the variety of different social media profiles that are out there. Also, if you see anything that we're posting, please share that with your friends and family so that they can see it as well. So comment on it, share it, like it, all that kind of stuff. We'd really appreciate help spread the word about CATAG and what we do within the .NET Nuke user community. In terms of corporate news, there were some things that were happening on the DNN software website. So a couple of things in the blog here. Kind of an interesting article around what happens if your content management system vendor got acquired. What should you do? Beyond panic, what would you do next? That kind of thing. And so they've talked about, some of the content management system vendors being acquired and what's happened in the marketplace. And so just some good information to note, from that perspective. Dennis did a nice job there summarizing that and talking about it. The next one was how Evoke helps you deliver engaging web experiences. This is an infographic that Dennis put together, and how Evoke helps you deliver those engaging web experiences. So if you're interested in Evoke and how it can be used to put that together, check out the infographic. It was kind of interesting to see some of the stuff that Dennis was talking about. The next one was from Chris Patera. and how Evoke helps you activate your brand advocate. So a lot of pushing around the Evoke platform and how creating communities and using the power of Evoke to create just beyond a typical website experience, but to create a user community and to how to build brand advocates. This is the kind of content that DNN has been sharing quite a lot about, understandably. And so some good information out there if you're interested in building a small community or a large community for that matter. How to get started and how to get it rolling from that perspective. Last of the news articles that we're going to talk about is web marketing and web CMS, an interview with Brett Cornell. Interesting piece here on using web CMSs from a web marketer in the life sciences industry. Dennis does a nice interview there. So if you're interested in some learning more about that, please check that out on the corporate blog. Moving on to, there's a couple of webinars that are out there. Thursday, April 16th, there's a webinar from 9 to 10. So if you're interested in looking at the latest release of Evoke and what your customer is expecting more from the simple website experience, what's the power of Evoke and that kind of thing. There was also one other webinar that was scheduled for the end of the month, so if you're interested, check it out on dnnsoftware.com. Go to the webinars page and see the different webinars that are available. Typically, DNN puts 1 or 2 webinars on a month, and so be sure to check them out, sign up, register, and get some great content from DNN Corporate. Moving on to release updates, we're still hanging at the 7.740 release. I haven't seen any patches or updates to this yet, although I do expect to see some here pretty soon. It should be about time to get some 7.41 out there and get some bug fixes and some things like that into that release. So we reported on this last month, so I'm not going to cover too much of it, although I will highlight the same slides that we talked about in last month's presentation. In the major highlights, there was several fixes, enhancements, and things that were added in the 7.4 as being a point release update. There was lots of different things that were put in, specifically around workflow and versioning APIs, enhanced user search, fixed some issues around non-HTML5 compliance, and so on. Lots of good stuff there from that perspective. There were no security fixes or module updates or provider updates in the release. But even with that, there was a huge team of people that worked on it. We've certainly thrown our thanks out to them in past months here because of the not having any new releases. But again, thanks to everybody's hard work, and we're really looking forward not only to 7.41 or 7.42, but we're really looking forward to 7.5 or 8.0 or whatever they decide to call it. They've got some great things coming, so we're very interested in about seeing what's going to come to the community side of .NET Nuke and new features and functionality from that perspective. So getting real excited about that as well. Module updates. Last month was a slow month. Nothing new updated. We talked about the last update, which was the DNN store, the .NET Nuke store. That was the last module to be updated in March, and we reported on that in the last webinar. So, quiet months in terms of module development. Hopefully we'll see some, fixes and things like that coming. I think everybody's busy and got their heads down in the next release of DNN, so trying to wait and see what's happening on that. And hopefully some of these module providers are going to be taking advantage of some of the new versioning and API support for, doing versions and things like that so that we can have multiple versions of, content that we've put out there and keeping track of that. That would be awesome. So hopefully we'll see some cool stuff happening in the next couple of months and, start of summer. In terms of our website and social media updates, I just want to take a minute. Don already mentioned this, but the Chicago area .NET website is hosted. The hosting is provided by manage.com. Certainly, stop by and check them out if you're looking to host the .NET Nuke website. The support there is just awesome. Tony's team does a great job of responding to any issues or tickets or questions that you may have about hosting your .NET Nuke website. So top-notch quality support from manage.com. Sprocket website uses and recommends manage.com to all of its customers. So if you're using or thinking about hosting, check out Tony and his crew. over at manage.com and see what they can do for you as well. We still have some new sponsors that we want to talk about, and if you've been following us on social media, you should be seeing a lot of this information being shared on social media. Infogistics being a big sponsor of the CATOG users group, as well as 1105 Media, who puts on Visual Studio Live, Live 360, and Tech Mentor, some great conferences if you're interested in development and the .NET community. Certainly some great information can be gleaned from those conferences. Please check us out on social media. You'll see all kinds of links to the conferences, links to Infogistics if you're interested in an Infogistics license. We do run some contests for giving away licenses to the Infogistics development tools. That's a $2,000 package, so if you're interested in that, be sure to join up in our next contest that we'll be giving away another license for that, and look forward to that coming in the next month or so. As well, this slide talks about the Infogistics contest that just finished, and so be looking for the next conference that'll be coming up, or the next giveaway that'll be coming up, and get in for the next license that we're giving away. Last thing that I want to talk about is the CATOG website, and if you're interested and want to contribute to the CATOG website, we're always looking for people who are generating content and would love to post new content on the CATOG website. So if you're looking for a place to be creative and share your information, please give myself or Don a call or an email, or send us a smoke signal, or send a carrier pigeon, whatever you need to do. And let us know that you're interested in contributing to the CATOG website. We'd be happy to get you an account. We have the latest versions of DNN, latest versions of the easy DNN modules. So if you're interested in checking those out and seeing how those are used, we'd be happy to give you access and let you go crazy and post some awesome content related to the .NET New community. So this is my contact information. If anybody wants to reach out, you can reach me at Jim at Sprocket Website, so that on Twitter at Sprocket Website, or the phone number there that's on the screen. Be happy to chat with you and talk with you about DNN, that kind of information. So that's pretty much all I have, and I'm going to turn it back over to Don. So
thank you very much. And by the way, as long as we're in this portion of our report, many of the people that watch this are DNN folks from way back. And of course, there's every once in a while we hear some brand new people that are just getting into DNN. So I thought for their benefit, Jim had mentioned that there's a number of seminars, webinars that are coming up that are talking about Evoke. And just in case you didn't know, and there's not too many people who don't, but if you're new to the whole DNN thing and you've been hearing DNN all the time, and then all of a sudden you hear Evoke and you don't know what that means, Evoke is the brand name of the professional pay version of the DNN platform. There's a couple of variations to it from a product standpoint. The deliverable is a little bit different, but by and large, it's the same DNN core product. So it's a content management system. It's a subscription-based thing. Many of the things that you'll learn at an Evoke webinar would apply to the DNN platform. We pretty much build most of our sites on the DNN platform. There are some people that through us that are looking at the Evoke platform and want to subscribe. And then, of course, there are a number of DNN corporate partners that resell the Evoke package. So with that, it's not exactly the same thing. It's similar, very similar. And then, of course, with the Evoke package, you get a support arrangement with the DNN corporate themselves. But if you want to watch those Evoke things, I would suggest that you do watch the Evoke things, and always keep in the back of your mind that maybe, all of these things are something that I can also do in the DNN platform, especially the whole idea of building communities. There's a lot of cool stuff that's in the Evoke social version of the product, the one that has all the community stuff in it. But many of those basic capabilities are also in the DNN platform. So you can take advantage of that and still work open source if that's your intent, or if that's what your budget allows. So we can help you with that too. So Okay, well, with that, let me switch the screens. Um, and then, there you go. Jump back over here. My screen showing up again, Jim?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, great. All right, so we've covered the corporate news and talked about the folks that sponsor the group, and the little talk that we want to give today is more along the lines, the higher level, the I don't mean higher like smarter, I mean higher like not digging into the technology kind of things, more of a 10,000 foot view as opposed to down into the code. We mentioned at the beginning of the report that we try to work with all these different types of people. Last week we got heavy into what developers do with how to use some of the tools, the API that's new to the 7.4 version to be able to have to put workflow into your module. So if you as an administrator or the owner of the site want to write something on your website, but you want some people to be able to approve it in your organization before it goes live, before it publishes, there's a whole set of tools that are part of workflow. That's what Scott told us about last week. This week, we're going to talk more like what what a website owner may want to know about what a website can do. So the basic premise, the problem that we're solving, getting the word out. You're building a website, you're online, you're doing internet marketing, you're trying to get your product, your service, your cause, whatever it is, you're trying to get the word out about this. And to do that, you need to repeat quite a bit. You need to get out there and keep telling people about what's going on. What's the latest thing happening with your company or with your organization? To do that, you go to the various social media platforms, like Facebook and Twitter. Maybe you have an email newsletter that people can sign up for, and you want to keep them aware of your organization's causes or your latest products through that. And then, of course, there's literally dozens of different platforms that you could be working with. And when you think about it, you have to go to each one of these platforms. Like, for instance, you jump over to Contact, you go over to Twitter, and so you got to type in a message up here, what's happening, and you click here and you type in your message, and then that's tweeted, and then you jump over to Facebook, and then you type in what's there, and in your message here, what's you're up to there, and the idea here, I'm hoping I'm illustrating, is it's an awful lot of work. You're going back and forth to with all of these different platforms, and unfortunately, many of our clients saw this, and they said, "Gosh, isn't there, is there something that we can do? I guess we just have to go through this process, and we have to go to each one of these tools, and we have to think in terms of each one." And then what we found is that they go off to the social media stuff, or they'll go off to a Constant Contact and write a newsletter, and they forgot an important thing. They forgot their website. They don't put anything on the website, so they've got a static website that it just says one basic thing. It may have, the most referential stuff, like where they're located and what product or service they have, and all of that's good, but the website can also have their latest information. I mean, that's what blogging is all about, putting the information on there. That's what news modules are for, put the information on there. So what we want to point out is that using a couple of different modules on your DNN website, what you can do is you can write something on your website, and then you can automatically have it go to these various other platforms without you having to do any further work. All you got to do is you set it up once, and then let it run. And to do that, I wanted to share with you one of our clients' websites. I'm going to jump over here to show the website. It's a small business. They have on their website, they have a series of articles, and what they do is they just put these articles out, reminding people who are subscribers to their newsletter and people that are interested in being in this case, their patients, but be their clients for anybody else. That they're out there, they're talking, they want to communicate, they want to engage, and so they have a website that does these kinds of things for them. They post it on the website, but they also have a newsletter, and then they also have social media. So let's talk about what we've got here. So Jim and I put this website together for these folks. They have a couple of months. First one I'll point out, I'm jumping over here, DNN Store. For those that are new to DNN, we have a very large ecosystem, marketplace, if you will, of people that build specialized modules that run on top of DNN. And so you can go to the DNN store, store.dnnsoftware.com, or go to dnnsoftware.com and look for the link that says go to the store. And then while you're there, start looking around and seeing what special capabilities there are. This particular one I want to talk about is Easy DNN News. Jim found these guys. We've worked with them for how long? A couple of years now, Jim? 2.5 maybe?
Oh yeah, at least 3 or 4 years down.
4 years? Wow. Okay. Well, that's great because we've seen them since way back when, maybe version 3 of their stuff. And now they're at 7.1, and Damir and his group, great people, extremely supportive of us, very responsive to our suggestions. We've put a bunch of the cool things that it does now. We and other website integrators have given to these or have asked for, and because of that and because of the cool ideas that they've come up with, they've done some very nice things. So we've mentioned Easy DNN News, I think, a number of times in our various reports and at our user group meetings. But I just wanted to point out that this particular Easy DNN News has some cool features that I want to show how we tie these things together and save you as a website owner, you as the communicator in your company, save you a whole bunch of time. And a number of our clients take advantage of this cool kind of integration. The other component that's part of this is, I'm going to just switch tab and go to another page on the store, and it's the Easy DNN MailChimp. Now, MailChimp, maybe you heard of it, maybe you haven't. You probably have heard of Constant Contact. You probably heard of iContact. Email campaign programs. MailChimp is a very nice and popular email campaign service. So you go to MailChimp.com, you sign up for the service. You can have, I think, 2,000 contacts. Not positive. At any rate, there's some large number of contacts and messages that you can send each month for free before you start paying a monthly subscription for it. So you can let the MailChimp folks deal with distributing, sending out the emails that you have. It's a great tool for using newsletters. And so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of walk through a couple of the screens here that show you the basics for the integration. I'm going to switch back to the website and scroll down the page. The first thing, as I'm scrolling down, you'll notice here that there's this banner that's flying across. It's one of the other Easy DNN products. This is the Rotator. I think that's right? It's the Rotator Gallery.
Yep, that's the Rotator. Yep. Right,
and the cool thing about Rotator is that it can rotate a bunch of images, can upload and tell it, okay, does image A, B, and C, and rotate through those. Or the cool thing about it is that it can integrate with your system, so any picture that you put in with the news will take that and it'll take those. And so that's what you're seeing here is that it's rotating rotating through articles. And so a very nice additional touch, very nice way of it. So I'm going to scroll down my screen here, and you'll notice that article after article is listed here. All right, and as I scroll further down, you'll notice that there is on the right-hand side, it says stay informed. You put an email address in here. So let's say, for instance, I'm over here and I say, Joe at joesmith.com, because that's my website, company name, and I say subscribe. And if you click on it, it will go ahead and it'll subscribe. And you see the little message, subscription successful. This little guy right here, the stay informed box in the gray squarish shape, rectangular, rounded corner rectangle thing, that is the Easy DNN MailChimp opt-in module. So there's a little module you plug on your page. You connect it up to your MailChimp account that you create when you go in and sign up for it on MailChimp.com, and you plug that information in. And you also could you could do things like, here I'm scrolling back over to the MailChimp page on the news store, and you notice there's several different variations, looks of subscribe to the newsletter that we see here on the screen. So you can have multiple newsletters. So for instance, in this case here, there's a Easy DNN solution, a .NET Nuke, and a design. So if you're interested in one of these, you could check the box. If you're interested in all three, you check all three. Then you put your name and email. And you notice with ours, all we ask for is their email address, but you can ask for this basic batch of information. And so the module can be nicely configured to look you want it to look. All right. So that's one piece of the puzzle of how to put all this together. The other piece of the puzzle is, as you scroll down the list of news, this has a very nice mechanism for moving from a group of news stories to the next group of news stories to the next group of news stories. But the point I want to draw out is, notice here there is an RSS feed indicator. A lot of people, technical folks know what that means. Those that don't, RSS stands for Real Simple Syndication, and it's a mechanism for allowing people to subscribe to websites that use the RSS technology. So that they don't have to remember to go jump from website to website to website. They can just use the RSS technology and a reader to read the latest whenever they feel like it. So it's a reader mechanism for reading all of the latest and greatest news. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change tabs, and I'm using Firefox, which has the ability, if you were to stuff in the RSS feed address, which you could see there at the top of my screen, that's the address, into Firefox, it will show you the RSS feed. And so as you scroll down, this is what an RSS feed kind of looks like in its raw form. All right, so you combine these two things. You've got the MailChimp opt-in, you've got the RSS feed. So now whenever you put a news story into the website, you put a news story and you hit publish, and there it is on the website. The next person to open their reader will see the article, that the last one that you wrote, along with the rest of the stream of articles. So taking that into consideration, you jump over to your MailChimp account, and here I'm logged in as MailChimp, and you start up a new campaign. The type of campaign you want is RSS feed and send timing. And you plop in the RSS address, and you say how often you want this to be sent out. And what MailChimp does is it checks basically based on your schedule that you provide it. And if there's something new on your website, it sends it out to your mailing list. If there's nothing new when it checks, like this says every day at 4 p.m. Eastern. So if you didn't write anything today or any time up to tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, when it jumps in and goes and sees if there's something new, there isn't, and so it just goes back to sleep until the day after. And it's based on your schedule. So very powerful technique. And if you're the rest of the how to set this up is in the design, and there's a template that you could use or you can make your own. We help people by building these things for them. So if you get to a point where you say, I don't really want to figure out how to do it, I just want you guys to do it this one time and I'll take over from there, we'll be happy to work with you. But if you click on, if I hear clicking on the design, I may be logged out. It seems to be spinning here a little bit, a little too long. There you go. We built this template for these folks, and notice this code right here, the RSS feed title and item and read more and all that. That's the special MailChimp code for going and grabbing the latest of the RSS feeds. So if you have 2 or 3 or 4 articles that you've written since the last time your newsletter went out, say you do a monthly newsletter or a weekly newsletter, and you put several things on your website in your news system since then you get each of those as a synopsis. So I'm going to jump over here and show you roughly you might get. Here's a Gmail account where you get a newsletter, and there is the article, and it says who it's by, and it says the little what do you call it, the little synopsis or the teaser, and then read more. So if you click on read more, it takes the recipient to your website, and it goes directly to the article. So let's say, for instance, I'm updating my screen here. Give me a second. There you go. Here is the page that they'll go to on your websites, the details of the article. So if you've got a lot of stuff there you want to tell them about. And then, of course, now that they're here on the website, they have all of your navigation, your branding, who you are, they may have passed this email along, and now reading it can sign up for the email themselves. Call to actions like plan visit and all of the rest of the stuff. Plus, the Easy DNN News has the ability to share the article, so now it could go right out onto social media. So you now have, with combining the template over on the MailChimp site and a Easy DNN News module on your site, you now have the ability to write once, create an article, and then you don't have to also go to an email newsletter system and update that. You can let it run automatically. You don't have to worry about that. The other cool thing that this Easy DNN News can do, we're going to save the talk, however, for today, but it will automatically, as you finish and click the publish button, it will automatically put that same teaser that you see in the newsletter. It'll automatically put that up on Facebook, and it'll automatically put that on Twitter. So going back to what we said earlier, you're busy putting something out on Facebook, out on Twitter, you're sending out a newsletter, and you got all this work to do. Well, if you just start at your website, you put the thing on the website, so now anybody who comes to your website through search engines or recommendations from word of mouth or what have you will see the information on the website. That's great. All the people that follow you on Facebook or maybe see a word or hashtag in Twitter that will then click and go to your website. All of that capability is all done one time by putting one article on the website rather than having to do all of those things. So you're basically cutting 1, 2, 3, 4 different things that you would do down to one, which certainly saves you a ton of time. The beauty of that is now, instead of doing like a fourth of the of the work. Now come back and say new things on a more regular basis. There's less work involved with saying something new, so put out more stuff. Similar to what the folks at the chiropractic do, where they send out a number of news stories on a regular basis to let their client base and the community that there's a lot that they can do for them. So hopefully that helps people understand that you can really cut down the work and amplify your impact in your community by doing stuff smarter, not harder. Jim, you got anything to add to that? Because that's pretty much, between you and I finding these guys, building these different websites that have these different capabilities, it sounds like we've helped a good number of folks with it.
Absolutely. There's certainly, once the process is connected up and running, it is certainly a great time saver. Post once and have it, shared on social media, to have it, sent, in a newsletter once a week or once a month or however often you decide to send it out, because it can be one article or many articles, all contained in a single newsletter that's automatically generated. Really a time saver and help building your brand, your message, your marketing. All these tools together can combine to help a small business or a medium-sized business, do this type of effort without having to put the long hours in of making sure that they post it on Facebook and post it on Twitter and put their newsletter together and, make sure that their blog is updated and all that kind of stuff. This really kind of simplifies the whole process together. So pretty awesome solution. A couple of, interesting modules, all built on top of the DNN platform. Everything's off the shelf and available to anyone who wants to partake and use it. And some great features, functionality, and lots of other things that can be done. We only really scratched the surface of this, but really kind of a really cool process for helping businesses compete effectively out there in the marketplace.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you brought up a couple of good points. The first one is that it's off the shelf and there's no custom code involved with this. It's a lot of configuring. But there's nothing where you have to write code. You basically load the module, install the module, load the module onto the page. There's a good number of settings involved. There's like 20 different sections of settings. You don't have to go through all of them. There's 2 or 3 of them that are the key ones to make it look a particular way, and a couple of them that make it work a particular way. That RSS thing, couple of settings there. The other thing that you brought up, which I think is an important point, is you set it up once, and then you can run with it. And the setting up is not trivial. It's not it's certainly not impossible. It doesn't take a coder to do it. The Easy DNN News folks have some documentation. You can get through it. And of course, because we're here as a users group, users helping users, if you want to do it on your website, get a hold of us via the comment area on the chicagodnn.org and ask us, and we'll be happy to answer questions on how to configure it. And also we can point some websites that are using the combination if you want to get inspired and see how they do it. Maybe you might want to jump in and sign up for their newsletter to see what the newsletter looks like, that kind of thing, and see how they're following it. And of course, if you want to just throw your hands up and say, I don't really want to do that, then we could certainly build it for you in our role as a website development company. So we can help that way too, and then you can run with it from there. So a lot of capabilities. It's a pretty cool module, or a pair of modules, I should say. And the cool thing is that it's from the same company, so that's kind of nice. But of course, with DNN, there's a lot of people out there that are offering some very good modules, and they do play nicely together, so you can add all kinds of capabilities to your website. So with that, I think we pretty much have covered our time. We have every second Wednesday of the month, we put out a report. Some Wednesdays, second Wednesdays of the month, we actually meet. We've met out in the Chicago suburbs numerous times, and then sometimes downtown. We have not scheduled a next physical meeting, so we're continuing to do the virtual meetings and the reports. So we'll continue to do that. Next month, we're going to be talking about the upcoming DNN Connect, which is a big user group meeting that happens in Europe. It's happening in the south of France this year at the end of May, the 28th through 31st. And we'll talk a little bit about that next month, the second Wednesday in May. So until then, thanks very much for watching. And if you have any comments on what we talked about, please leave a message on the comments or use any of the connecting things like the Twitter or Facebook or this website or wherever to let us know. And we'll be happy to get back with you and chat with you. We look forward to talking with you. Thanks, and see you next month.
Thanks.